G'day, ZiggyD here and welcome back for some more Heroes of the Storm. For this video I have for you guys a Johanna build meta guide. I'm going to be explaining for you guys the strongest and most popular Hero League builds for Johanna. Now the information I share in this video is based on statistics from HotSLogs, which is a site that compiles match data including talent choices and match win rates with those talent choices. I'll use this data to provide insight into what is considered the strongest ways of playing Johanna at the highest levels of play. I'll also provide some analysis of why certain talents are popular, alternative talents, and how talent choices might apply at the lower levels of play. You should hopefully be able to take this information and use it as a base to learn how to play the hero well and potentially create your own builds in the future. Johanna has a pretty versatile kit overall, and this is somewhat reflected in the stats for talent selection. Some talents, while slightly less popular, have higher win rates when selected. This sort of thing can occur when selecting a talent is done as a response to the map in play, your allied team composition, or the heroes and talents selected by your opponents. The current popular meta for playing Johanna at all levels of play is to further enhance her already potent tanking ability and to enhance her disruption ability as well. Her kit has tons of disruption including slows, stuns, and blinds, and if you can reduce the cooldowns of these abilities and ensure you remain in the fight from initiation to end, then this maximizes her potential. I won't go through Johanna's basic abilities in this guide, but I do recommend spending some time in the try mode in the shop to familiarize yourself with how they work in order to get the most from this guide. You can also check out my previous Johanna basics guide for more insight. And with that, let's move into the most popular talent build for Johanna. At level 1, the general consensus is that Reinforce is the strongest talent selection, being taken 40% of the time. The next most popular alternative is Regeneration Master, trailing behind only slightly at 35%. Reinforce gives you 1 stack of block after using an ability, and this can stack 2 times. This means you can enter a fight with 2 stacks of block and then get another 3 over the course of the fight. Since you will typically be at the front in team fights, and because you will also be subject to harassment from ranged heroes, this mitigates a ton of incoming damage. Taking Reinforce in most matchups is not a bad idea, but if the enemy team is low on heroes with auto attack focuses, then Regeneration Master for improved sustain may be a better choice. Regeneration Master may also be a slightly better option in maps with a lot of creep camps, such as Blackheart's Bay, where you can have a steady income of regeneration globes. At level 4, the most popular choice, and the one with the highest win rate, is Laws of Hope. This talent gives you some inherent regeneration without farming, and gives you an activatable heal for 20% of your life. Laws of Hope combines with Johanna's trait Iron Skin to give you a ton of sustain and escape potential as well. The main alternative to Laws of Hope is Amplified Healing, which increases all regen and healing effects by 30%. This talent may be a better choice if you're playing with Regeneration Master, collecting a ton of regen globes, and if there's a solid healer on your team. The thing about Laws of Hope is that you always have perfect control over exactly when you want to actually use it, and this is probably ultimately why Laws of Hope is more popular, even when a healer is actually present on your team. The talents on level 7 have a reasonably even split at high levels of play, but battle momentum comes out ahead, which is taken about 1/3 of the time. With a hero with as much staying power as Johanna, it's easy to be constantly auto-attacking enemies. Battle momentum enhances Jo's disruption potential by allowing her to blind, slow, and stun enemies more often. There's a clear synergy between how Jo is being built in the meta for sustain and the choice to take battle momentum. While all of the other talents on this tier have some potential, I think that Conviction is the main alternative to battle momentum since it is taken about 25% of the time. This talent increases your move speed by 25% for 1 second when you activate Condemn. Now this doesn't sound like much, but it makes it a lot easier to actually connect with Condemn when you're chasing an enemy. This means you can pull them in, stun them, and then slow them as well. This makes securing kills and peeling a lot easier as Johanna. In addition, it also gives the talent a bit of escape potential. Keep in mind that Johanna has no real movement options outside of Falling Sword. For Johanna's ultimate at level 10, the breakdown is quite interesting. At the higher levels of play, Blessed Shield is considered a better choice by the vast majority of players. However, as we move down the ranks, it loses popularity to Falling Sword more and more. While Blessed Shield is still more popular even at the lowest ranks of play, the gap is much lower. The reasons for this are based on both the skill of the Johanna player and the opponents. Blessed Shield is a quick, powerful stun with excellent disruption potential during teamfights, but it is a skill shot and it can be much harder to land for less skilled players. Falling Sword is easier to use and still gives decent disruption potential, but it is much easier for skilled opponents to avoid. At higher levels of play, opponents have better positioning and will have plenty of time to use movement skills to avoid a Falling Sword, while the speed of Blessed Shield makes it much harder to avoid. Based on this, my recommendation is that you take Blessed Shield early on in your Johanna career to get practice with it as much as possible, because you will find that it only gets more and more powerful as you move up through the ranks. There is, however, one more consideration on the choice of ult for Jo. Blessed Shield's usefulness is diminished greatly on maps where teamfights commonly occur on top of creeps. The shield will bounce to creeps, wasting its damage and its stun. As such, maps like Sky Temple, where you're fighting on top of creeps at objectives, may be better suited to Falling Sword regardless of the league. At level 13, by far the most popular talent is Burning Rage. Burning Rage adds a passive damage tick to all enemies in close proximity. Since Johanna will be on top of enemies for the entirety of the team fight, this talent adds a ton of extra damage. It also helps Jo clean up creeps to push lanes later in game as well. Since Burning Rage adds quite a bit of damage, it starts to encourage your opponents to try and burn you down, where otherwise they would avoid you if you were built as a pure tank. Any damage taken as Jo is damage not on your team, and that is considered a win. At level 16, popularity is divided between Holy Renewal and Imposing Presence. Holy Renewal adds a heal per hero hit by your shield glare, and Imposing Presence slows enemies' attack speed by 50% when they attack you. You should make this talent selection based on how many auto attacks you are taking in the match. If your opponents seem to be building for auto attacks, especially with ranged assassins, then Imposing Presence will be the better choice. Otherwise, you should take Holy Renewal, as it can help you heal up midway through a team fight, or early on if you can bait out some of your opponent's burst damage. Finally, at level 20, there is a great consensus that Indestructible is the best talent choice. This talent gives you a massive shield for 5 seconds when you take fatal damage, and it can trigger once every 2 minutes. The popularity of this talent is due to the gravity of hero death in the late game. A 60-second respawn timer can mean a loss at the 20-minute mark, even if your team is in the lead at the time. This talent allows you to escape, back and heal, or receive healing from a well or ally. If a game is not being decisively won at level 20, then you should take this talent. The alternatives are all fine talents, but should only really be taken if your team is already closing out the game when you hit 20, or if you feel no real danger of being focused and killed. So, to review, here is how the final build looks given the current metadata. Level 1 is Reinforce or Regeneration Master. Level 4 is Laws of Hope. Level 7 is Battle Momentum or Conviction. Level 10 is Blessed Shield, except on maps where fighting on top of creeps is common. Level 13 is always Burning Rage. Level 16 is Imposing Presence or Holy Renewal depending on your enemies, and level 20 is Indestructible. So, hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you did, consider subscribing so you can catch future heroes guides. That's it for now, I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.